Hello, everyone. Tonight's story started when we got a phone call from some people in Cricklewood who phoned us up and said, we've just found out that British Nuclear Fuel are about to park their trains at the end of our gardens. And obviously they're a tad miffed about this. You know, you wake up and they're... Mummy, Mummy, look! Somebody's cooked the kids. Mummy, the boys are playing with sticks in the garden. Come to the darkness, Luke. I know some of you are thinking, Mark, you're exaggerating. You're exaggerating there, Mark. No. Well, let me just tell you this. Off the coast of Sellafield, they found a lobster that was irradiated so much it was now 42 times over the limit of the limit they would expect to find had there been a nuclear accident. Now that, I mean, Captain Birdseye was laughing. You know, boil in the bag. Hey, this one's self-microwaving. British Nuclear Fuel are losing a shitload of money. Well, I say they are. It's ours. They're losing a shitload of money, and so they thought, right, we've got to try and get our own train service. Right? So we'll get our own train service to move our own waste around. So the people they used to move it with said, oh, you're going in competition with us. You can't use our marshalling yard. Go away, boo, hiss. So they said, right, we'll open one in Cricklewood. And thus, the wagons meet up and they all assemble at the Cricklewood siding. Hasn't happened yet, but this is what the plans are. Now, British Nuclear Fuel said, now listen, let's get this straight. Let's be up front about this. We haven't just dumped it there. We have consulted with the local council and with the local MP. We've talked to Brent Council and we've talked to Ken Livingstone. Brilliant, well done. The council you were looking for was Barnet. The MP you were after was Rudy Viz. So I know it sounds nitpicky, but really when you're running a nuclear power station complex and moving tons of this shit across the fucking country, getting the right address is the easiest bit. You say, what have your PR department been sitting too near the reactor or something? Master, I can't work at Barnstable, Bristol, but I don't know, so many bees. You think, what is going on here? Plus the fact that they get £18 million a year of taxpayers' money for their press and PR department. Then you find out, right, we actually said to the people who they finally talked to, what was the consultation process? They said they sent us a little press release that didn't mention Cricklewood sidings. You think, well, that's hardly consultation. Now, Hitler rolls into Poland. It's all right, I've leafleted the area. They know we're on our way. And you think, this is incredible. Now, British Nuclear Fuels won't debate in public. So, no, we don't do public meetings, no, because we're not very good at them. No, we're not. What we find is when we do public meetings, people tend to run and shout at us. Taking me 18 million and piss off. They shout, well, don't be shit, and they won't shout. And then they have these little private meetings with selected groups of the residents that they don't allow any pressing or anything like that. You were there, weren't you, when the bloke, I've forgotten, you said the bloke brought out a nuclear rod and said, people are often sort of calmed down when I show them one of the rods. It's like Peter Sutcliffe going, people are always calmed when I've shown them the hammer. Do you know what I mean? And you just think, this is incredible. So we went along to a meeting that was run by the council and the residents without British Nuclear Fuels, where people were asking questions about stuff. And it was amazing because people started asking the local council emergency planning officer what the plans were in the event of an incident like a leak or an explosion or something like that. And he stood up and said, the council do have an emergency plan. And then pulled up this book, this red book, and in yellow letters it said, emergency plan. And they said, what is the emergency plan, oh wise one? And what is the emergency plan? And he said, well, first of all, we'll evacuate everyone within a 45-metre radius. and then stand them upwind. Bingo, safe as houses there, boys. So we started phoning up all these local council safety officers and planning officers. And we'd phone up, we'd say, what's your plan?
If it was a major incident where, say, there was road closures required, we could provide the cones and the controls to expedite that road closing.
So you get out the cones?
Yeah, we'd do that. Or if the flask that you're talking about was within close proximity to housing, we'd be responsible for the rehousing aspect, providing catering.
You wouldn't lead the initiative?
No.
You're very much a supporting role.
Yeah.
Providing the cones
and assisting in...
and doing the catering for the people who had to be evacuated.
Yeah, in the event of the disaster.
There's a bloke wandering around going, this way for tea, come on, this way. Oh, who's melted me cones?
I've spoken to our emergency planning officer, and he tells me basically the council would support and cooperate with the police in any way that we were requested.
So, would it be fair to say that the council has no plan of its own?
I don't think that's the same as saying that we have no plan of our own. I think that's saying that there is actually a procedure, and that procedure is invoked by the police. So
what is the council plan?
The council plan is that we would support the police.
So you don't have a plan?
Okay, we don't have a plan.
So then, we thought we'll go down to Dungeness. And we went down there, and you look at the track that the nuclear flasks travel on, and it's really ropey and dodgy. The sleepers are sort of like a bit all over the place, and there's bits of wood rotting away. Hornby would be going, who put this in? This is crap. Then we found out, about 5 minutes out of Dungeness, the nuclear train with all the flasks on gets to a level crossing, and it stops about 30 yards from the crossing. Driver gets out, goes to the crossing, unpadlocks the gates, opens the gates, goes back to the cab, drives the train through, parks it, stops, gets out, goes back, locks up the gates, goes back to the cab and drives off. And we thought, not the most security conscious operation in the world.